So I want to do number 45 from 8.3. Okay. Which says f of x is absolute value of x plus 5 minus 7. And I want to know which x's have f of x positive and negative.
Yes.
Right? They tell me to do something with intervals, right? But that's kind of the obvious. When you're talking about x's and positive and negative, I should probably be answering in intervals of x's. Cool? How do I figure this out? Okay, how about this? What's the dividing line between positive things and negative things?
0.
0? Okay, so if I could find out when this thing was 0, then I would know when it switches from positive to negative. You guys see that? Okay, so let's set it equal to 0 and solve.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I'm wondering when is 0 x plus 5 minus 7? It's the first thing I do.
Add 7.
Okay, we add 7 to both sides. So I got 7 is the absolute value of x plus 5. Then what? Yeah, there's two kind of ways for this to happen, right? Either x plus 5 was 7, or x plus 5 was minus 7. You can all see that?
Yep.
So x plus 5 is plus or minus 7. You guys see that? That's really unabsolute valuing. I'm not a fan of this phrase. Somebody think of a better way to write that.
Is there like an actual math term?
Not that I'm aware of. The absolute value function doesn't have an undoing. This undoing is not a function, right? Because I got a plus or minus. So I gave it one input, 7, and it gave me 2 outputs, plus minus 7. All right, what do I do with this thing?
Absolute d-value.
Oh, that's good. Devalue it. I like that better. Good, thank you, Story. All right, what do I do with this? Yeah, I should subtract 5 from both sides. Okay, so I subtract 5, I get x is plus or minus 7 minus 5.
Yep.
Right? So the x's are something or something.
2 common 0 and negative 12 common 0. Okay, 2 and negative 12.
2 or negative 12. Right?
Yes.
You guys see that? Okay, so this means that whatever my picture looks like, it goes through y equals 0, right? The x-axis, at x is 2 and x is negative 12. So there's 2. Okay. So there's my 2. What are those?
Y-intercept.
X or y?
X.
Show of hands for x. Okay, the x's have it. It is the x-intercept, right? Because that's where it's hitting the x-axis. All right, now what? I want to know where it's positive and negative, right? So I need to know if my picture looks like this, right? Or like this.
Whoa. A little
It's-
straighter than.
Whatever.
It goes up.
You guys see that? I want to know if the v's pointed up, in which case the positive bits are on the outside and the negative bits in the middle, or if it's pointed down, in which case it's the opposite.
It's up.
How do you know?
Well, there's not a negative in front of the
Oh,
function.
perfect. You guys all see that? So because the absolute value has a positive coefficient on it, yeah, this thing points up. So I know it looks like this. I don't really know how far down that goes, right?
Couldn't you by making a
Yeah.
chart?
Or do you like this one?
Or we could figure out where it is by over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1 until we met in the middle, right? Or we could figure out how far apart these are, right? They're 14 apart.
Yeah.
So 7 from each side is -5. Oh, and I dorked my vertex because my vertex should be right here. You guys see that?
Yeah.
And then I can take that and plug it in, right, to get the output.
Well, I mean,
Does any of that matter for positive, negative?
No.
No. Okay, so where is it positive and where is it negative? Which one's easier? How about that?
oh, positive.
Negative.
Negative, probably, because I only have to write one interval, right? You guys see that? So I want to write negative. It's negative for the x's where? Oh, yeah, from here to there, right? So that's -12 to 2. Okay. And it's positive.
Negative infinity to 12. Negative.
Yeah, on this stuff, right? That's -infinity to -12. I'll put that bracket on for you. And then it's positive again
2 positive infinity.
from 2 to infinity. And I'll put that bracket on for you. Now you guys get to straighten out the missing brackets and the missing symbol.
Close bracket.
All of them are close.
Close.
Why?
So it's including those points.
Yeah,
The
just leaving it
U.
out.
For the, yeah.
So I want to stick these two intervals together, right? Everybody with me on that? So what symbol do I use to stick intervals together?
Union.
Yeah, union. Okay, so I needed the U thing to stick the intervals together. Now what do I need to put on the ends of the interval?
Close brackets.
Convince me.
Those
Because
points are
to that
included.
point,
Those points are included?
Yep.
Yeah,
You sure?
it goes through that point, exactly.
Not negative or positive, then 0.
You guys see that? Is 0 neither positive nor negative, or is it both? Or is it only positive and not negative? This is kind of a choice, right?
would it be,
You guys see this? If 0 is negative, then these are closed. If 0 is positive, then these are closed. Right?
0, 0.
We kind of get to pick. 0 is 0. I'm going to say it's both positive and negative. That's up to interpretation. So I'm going to close all of these.
Yes.
Right? If we wanted to say that 0 is only positive, not negative, then we'd close these ones and open those ones. Right? I think maybe for consistency, we probably better just assume that 0 is both positive and negative. Cool? If you want to say that something's actually what we think of as usually being positive, use the phrase strictly positive. Cool? Questions on that?
How would you come about that if you couldn't graph? Because that's what the book says. It says to do it without graphing.
You guys see that? So I didn't really graph it. I just kind of thought about it a little bit. But the other thing you could do, perfectly valid option, is you got to this 2 and -12, right? So you make yourself a little number line with 2 and -12 on it. And then these are the spots where it switches, right? Or where it could switch. So you just pick something in the middle and plug it into the function and see what you get. So like, I'd pick 0, because 0 is an easy number to plug into functions. Then I take my 0, I go over here, and I'll plug it in here. What do I get? I get 5 minus 7 is negative, I don't care what. You guys see that? So we're negative from -12 to 2. Okay. Then I need to check the other bits for positive. So I'd pick something I can easily plug in, like lots. Right? So lots plus 5 is still lots. The absolute value of it is
lots.
lots, and it's still positive. When I subtract 7 from lots, what is it?
Lots.
Lots still, right? So it's still positive. Okay, see that? How about this for those of you who are a little skeptical of lots? Really big ass negative number. Cool? So if you take a really big ass negative number and you plug it in here, what are you going to get when you add 5 to it?
5 plus a really big ass negative number.
Still going to basically be a really big ass negative
It's gonna
number,
be a
right?
bigger ass
It's
negative.
gonna be lesser.
It's going to be a
Or
smaller
a
ass.
smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe at worst it's a big ass negative number and it lost the really, right? When I do the absolute value to it, what am I going to get?
Positive number.
Yeah, I'm going to get a big ass positive number. When I subtract 7 from it, what's it going to be?
That's
Sort of
Positive.
big ass.
I don't really care how big, right? It's still going to be positive. So I got positive on everything up to negative 12 and positive from 2 onward. You guys see that? This thing is called a sign test. And these do not go away. So if you want to learn this technique, it'll really help later. If you don't want to learn this technique today, that's okay. We're going to teach you this technique about 4 or 5 times, so no sweat if you don't want to learn it today. Cool? Questions?